All right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yay, it's working. Hey, my name is Christine Stoddard. Welcome to Jackie Robinson Park, or maybe you should be welcoming me because I just showed up here. I'm here with the beautiful Stoops and friends of Jackie Robinson. If you don't know Stoops, you should know Stoops. This year is going to be Saturday, July 27th. That is next Saturday. It's going to be a neighborhood art crawl and block party with some of your Bed-Stuy legends, talking about Bed-Stuy legends, dancing, performing, doing all kinds of things. All right, so I'm Christine Stoddard. I said that already, but I have to say Stoddard many times sometimes because it's an unusual last name. It is not stuttered. It is not stuttering. Nothing like that, although I did go to speech therapy as a kid, and I was highly motivated by the McDonald's that was promised to me when I finished a speech therapy program. My teacher said that if I was able to pronounce my R's, because I was one of those kids, run was one, for instance, then I would get a McDonald's Happy Meal. And yeah, I was a chubby kid, so I wanted that McDonald's Happy Meal. I'm just here going to tell a few stories today. It is not stand-up, chill. It's also more or less child-friendly, especially if your kids are cool. So there's that. And yeah, it's for anybody. It's for people playing tennis. It's for people pushing strollers. It's for people with tiny dogs. It's for people with really cool yellow and black sneakers. It's for people with Target bags. It's for people with a cane and blue shorts and a lavender hoodie. So I'm just going to be reading a few stories from my composition notebook. Old school here. Maybe I'm just an old head. I guess kids don't really use composition notebooks anymore. Most of them use iPads or their phones, Blackboard, message boards, whatever, Discord. But I have some of my stories written down here. And by written, I mean bullet points because I was too lazy to write them out in full. And I was just thinking, what does summertime remind me of? Summertime reminds me of nostalgia, being outside and just playing and being free, being a happy, happy kid. So one of the stories from my happy, happy childhood was the sticky rice in the floorboard story. So when I was 3 years old, my sister and I came home from the Chinese restaurant with my family, and my dad just put the sticky rice down, you know, all the takeout food on the kitchen table, and my mom ran to the bathroom. I don't know, my dad also ran away to go do something. But my sister, who was only a year younger than me at the time, she and I got into that sticky rice. And when my parents both came back, they found us completely naked and with sticky rice in the floorboards in our old wooden floor in Virginia, like the creaky historic wooden floorboards. My dad had to scrape that rice out with a pocket knife. He had to get down on his hands and knees, this huge man, 6'4", and just get it all out because they were renting that house and we were not about to get in trouble. And when my mother says that we were covered in rice, I believe her. Head to toe, we had, both of us, big curly hair. We had sticky rice in our hair. We had sticky rice all over our little faces, especially our mouths, our cheeks. And then, yeah, really all over our bodies, in our little butt cracks, everywhere. So she had to clean all that sticky rice out. It was a lot. So speaking of butt cracks, my little sister and I also pooped in the tub when we were around the same age. There was no water in the tub. There was no bath going. We just got into the tub, took all of our clothes off. Again, I must have been like 3 or 4 and she was a year younger, and we just took a crap right there in the tub. And then we started smearing it all over the tub, all over the walls, everywhere. Again, mommy's worst nightmare. She had to clean both of these little kids, and daddy had to clean that tub because we rented that house. And also it was nasty. So that was just another experiment, I guess, in artistic material with both of us. because we were creative kids from the start, had to express ourselves somehow. Another poop story, and this was as an adult, this is not as a child, so I'm stepping away from the nostalgia for a moment. This was me being, I won't even tell you how old I was, but definitely fully grown. And I had to give the most important presentation of my life at like 9:30 in the morning. So I was super stressed, and I was living in Bedford-Stuyvesant, commuting to City College at that time. And yeah, I drank too much coffee. I had spoiled something the night before, and somewhere on that subway, I just knew I had to take a crap. But you know, that A train, like not a lot of options at 8 o'clock in the morning, not gonna be able to just go use the toilet any old place. And this was before that Instagram Got to Go, which everyone, if you don't know it, you have to check it out. Got to Go has a map of all the public toilets in New York City. It will give you the codes, the PIN codes, everything, tell you who to ask or where the key's hidden, that kind of thing. So there I am, 8 o'clock in the morning, very few things are open. I'm somewhere up in the Upper West Side, not quite at City College yet. I know, okay, it's gonna be another like solid 20 minutes. I can't hold it. So I just run off the train and I go into Central Park and take a crap right there. I didn't have my napkins, didn't have hand sanitizer, didn't have anything but my backpack full of school supplies, and I just let it all out behind a tree, in some bushes, using leaves like I was a bear in the woods. Sometimes you gotta go. And because I still had to give the most important presentation of my life, about an hour later, I went to Old Navy. I swear to God, they hadn't even opened yet, and I was just like, you know, waiting, a little restless. It's 9:01. I'm like, come on, man, please open. The manager, whoever, opens up. I run in there, desperately search for pants my size. I'm also a poor grad student at that time, so it's not like I just have money to throw on a new pair of pants. It has to be like cheap. So I finally find a pair of really ugly but cheap pants. They look okay for my presentation, and I figure, yep, I'll just wear these. And I hustle over to City College, you know, from 125th Street, like almost 10 blocks at that point, uphill, because Harlem's all hills. And I get to my building, I set up for my presentation. We have this important person coming from off campus, blah, blah, blah. The whole time I know I still smell like shit because I haven't taken a shower, but I'm ready. I have no choice. I can't reschedule this presentation. I give the presentation and I ace it. And really that was just one of those experiences that reminded me sometimes you have to take a shit to give a shit. So another situation that has nothing to do with poop. It's just a story, just a fun little story. Nothing to do with Harlem at 8 o'clock in the morning, and nothing to do with spoiled food. But definitely back to my family, because my family's part of everything. They know the poop in Central Park story. They know it very well. They love to tell everyone. But this story has nothing to do with that. So we used to go camping a lot when I was a kid, and that's one of the reasons why I won't say I'm exactly comfortable pooping outside, but I'm used to it. Like, I've done it, right? And I know, like, you dig the hole, you do it just like a bear, and you cover it so no one steps on your poop. So we were camping in Florida this one time when I was, I don't know, maybe 12 years old, and we were in the Everglades. So that's like alligator land. That's just full of wild animals, lots of tall grass, all these really dramatic trees, and nothing looks real, especially if you live in the city or you even a suburban area. You go to the Everglades and that's like Jurassic Park. It's just pure fantasy, all these critters. So we have been driving around in this RV and all these little back roads because my dad was like, we're gonna see some animals, and we eventually see something, but none of us know what the heck it is. It's this creature none of us recognize, and all of us were like animal nerds. Like, we went to all the different park programs. We did all this camping stuff. We looked at all these books. My siblings and I all volunteered at the nature center, but none of us knew what this animal was. So it was some kind of cat, like a wild cat, and it had a very small head, like way too small for the rest of its body, like something was wrong, like maybe a little kid drew it and it came to life, that kind of too small for its body head, and it had spots all over. So it wasn't a jaguar, it wasn't a leopard, it wasn't an ocelot, it wasn't like all these other wild cats that we knew from books and from the zoo. And everyone in the family in the RV saw it though, so we knew it was real. We knew, like, we hadn't imagined it. My dad had to keep driving down this road because somebody was behind us, and the cat had already run away. But he wanted to loop back around to see it again. So that's exactly what he did. He took this big, long, winding road, and eventually we were able to get back to where we were to see this strange animal. It turned out it was a serval cat, and the only reason we knew it was a serval was because later that night on the news, there was this story about how a serval had escaped from one of those, you know, Tiger King, like one of those zoos, but not like A+ zoos, more like touristy, animal abuse kind of sketchy zoos. So we had seen the missing cat, but we couldn't get any kind of reward for it. We couldn't even tell people really where it was because we were in the middle of nowhere. And by the time we saw the news program, it had been hours had passed since we saw that cat. But at least we found out what the cat was called. And now, anytime I see a serval cat anywhere, I know that's a serval cat. I've never seen one, except once or twice in a zoo after that. But I've never seen one like referenced anywhere after that. It's just a very peculiar cat. It's not something you see every day. So we used to, when we would go camping, we would camp at this place called Holiday Inn Park. And that was also in the Everglades. That was South Florida, way South Florida. And this park, this isn't even a story, this is just a description. This park had all kinds of trailers and mobile homes and people who, I can't even say they were camping, they were just living out of their cars, right? It seemed like a full-time situation for them. And there were alligators because it was the Everglades, so you would just see alligators out. Just any time of day, there would be alligators out. And there were also peacocks. So the alligators were wild. Those were supposed to be there just because of Mother Nature. And then the peacocks were the pets of the people who owned the park. So that was just bizarre. I don't know why someone would have pet peacocks when there are alligators right there, but that was the situation. Holiday Inn Everglades Campground, I believe was the full name. If you want to Google it, there are definitely pictures of it online. It's not even trying to be weird. It's not, it's just like a regular South Florida kind of campground. That's just the whole vibe down there. Okay, another time we went camping, we were in a Walmart parking lot because something I have learned over the years is that you can usually stay in a Walmart parking lot as long as it's one of the 24-hour kind of Walmarts. And like here in New York City, you're like, that's nice. Where would I even find something like that? Okay, not exactly a hot place to overnight here, but in Middle America and in the South, yes, a Walmart parking lot, if all the campgrounds are full, that is the place to be. You don't pay anything. You just sleep in your car or your RV overnight because they know you're going to go into the Walmart and buy something. You're in the middle of nowhere. All you have is a Walmart. So this one night, the campground was full. We had gotten to, I don't even know where, somewhere in the middle of America. And the campground was full. My dad was really disappointed. He didn't want to disappoint us kids. So he went looking around the brush because the Walmarts in the middle of nowhere always have like some creepy woods by them or some creepy bushes, some weird spot where there are animals just crawling around. Again, not city life. So my dad figured, okay, the kids are kind of sad because we're sleeping in a Walmart parking lot tonight instead of at a campground. Let me see if I can find an animal. So he went poking around in the brush, and lo and behold, he found a bunny rabbit. He put that bunny rabbit in a bucket, like a bucket that we used to collect water when we were at an actual campground. And he called all three of us to come look at it. And that bunny did not want to be in that bucket. That bunny just went, like none of us were even touching it at that point. It was just in the bucket. Very upset about being caught in that bucket. It was also tiny, like so tiny that bunny rabbit should have been with its mother. So all three of us come to look at it, and our dad's expecting us to be really happy, like, oh, look, I caught a bunny for you kids. Look, come play with it. Instead, all of us were so sad for this poor little bunny, we started crying. So just imagine 3 little kids all tearing up, bawling, and at the same time, this tiny bunny in the bucket. So my dad desperately, tries to cheer us up, shakes the bucket, and that just gets the bunny even more scared, and it just does even more over and over again. So he releases the bunny, it goes back to the brush, the 3 of us were still crying, and he has to just calm us down after that. But it ruined the rest of the night, because here we were in this Walmart parking lot, still thinking about that poor bunny and how traumatized it was. And I will never forget that. And sometimes just to tease him, I'll be like, hey dad, bunny in the bucket. And he feels so bad every single time. So as I said, the whole family knew a lot about animals because we would go to these different campgrounds. Some of the campgrounds were national parks. So we would go to these park ranger events, and these park rangers would tell you about the different plants and animals at that park. There was this one ranger, I don't remember her real name. It's probably better that I don't. I'll call her Ranger Molly. But she was angry about everything. Ranger Molly hated her job. Ranger Molly did not want to be in the park. Ranger Molly was just there to, collect a paycheck. And I'm not sure why you would become a park ranger and go live in the woods, be isolated from everybody, not have, all kinds of fun city stuff around, just to be mad at the birds and the trees. But that's how she was. So we would go, I don't know why, but we went to multiple programs, multiple workshops with Ranger Molly. I guess my parents figured it's free, she's here, she can teach the kids something. But the birds would be singing and Ranger Molly would get mad about it. We'd go walking on a trail and Ranger Molly would get mad at it. Everything just got her mad. Speaking of jobs that I don't know why people take, I've had a few of those, and every single one I've learned pretty quickly, oh, this is a short-term thing. As soon as I can leave this job, let me leave this job. So I was never an angry park ranger, but I was a clown for kids' birthday parties when I was in college. And that was usually okay. The money was decent, but the schedule could be pretty chaotic. The parents could be pretty demanding. And sometimes parents wouldn't want to play. There was this one time I was hired to do a block party. It was actually kind of a situation like this, a block party in this little suburb. And I really was just there to make balloon animals. And there was this guy who just kept coming, like a full-grown adult, not a child, not a teenager, who just kept coming back for more balloon animals. And you have to keep in mind, I was dressed as a clown. I was fully dressed, head to toe, the big wig totally covering my hair, my face totally covered in the makeup. My outfit was one of those dumb clown outfits, with the poofy pants and the big shirt and the pom-poms. I had on the stupid shoes, all of that. This guy just kept coming back for balloons. And I started to realize, like, oh, he's not even getting these balloons for a kid. He's trying to talk to me. And that's exactly what happened. At the end of the block party, this guy comes up to me in my full clown getup and he asks for my phone number. And that just goes to show it does not matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how you're dressed. Someone will always want to sleep with you. That's just how the world works. As long as you're friendly, as long as you have a positive attitude, really doesn't take much. And I just want to close by dedicating whatever the heck this storytelling thing was to my old clown pimp, Jenny. Jenny was my clown pimp all throughout college. That was, well, 2.5 years. The second half of college, she was my clown pimp. And she called herself that. That wasn't even my name for her. She was the lady who would book my clown gigs. And I will never forget the first day I come to meet her after answering an ad where she's looking for party clowns. She invites me into her home. She does a little interview. I agree that I'm gonna give this a go. And then she teaches me how to make balloon animals. And for the next hour, I'm just like that bunny in the bucket. I'm screaming because balloon after balloon keeps popping. And I'm so bad at it. But bless you, Jenny, for giving me a chance to get better at balloon animals. Jenny died just a few months ago. But I will never forget her. She was a strong believer in mine, and she was just a hilarious person, because only someone with a good sense of humor would call themselves a clown pimp and not get mad when others did the same. All right, I'm Christine Stoddard. Thanks so much. Check out Stoops next Saturday, July 27th. We will be throughout the neighborhood. I will be at Bailey's Cafe with a very different performance than this. And there's going to be a lot of music and all kinds of fun stuff going on. All right, peace, ciao.